Michelle Sanchez, I'm so excited to interview you, and I see you as a leader in your community at the wonderful Outer Banks area, and great to have you on the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And you've got my new t-shirt on. That's it. Look at that.
That's right.
I'm so excited. I do have to share this story because it was someone who's in my class who did design, and from her questions, I just knew she was good. And I had an idea, but it wasn't complete. You know, it's like I wanted some creative input, and a designer really knows how to do it. So I hired her I said, here's the idea. I told her. She came up with a few versions, ran it by my wife and my stepson who have better talent skills than me, and picked on this. And it's review local, shop local, and invest local and buy local. And and I'm so excited. You got a shirt there, and great to have you. But I want to talk about you, and our goal today is really, what do you think is something really valuable that you see small businesses need to understand and focus on? Because you're a true, I've experienced you're a true pay it forward. Your whole team is based on, let's educate our customers and let's let them understand what to do. Because if they come to us, we want them to go, I know how to do it, but I'd rather just pay you to do it. You know, and they trust you faster. And that's what I've experienced of you and your team. And that's why I wanted to interview you.
Yes. And the main thing that we try to push to our clients and anyone that comes in, even just for a consultation, is local. Keep it local. So that's why I'm so excited about the shirt, because a lot of things that we do is with our local small businesses to try to get their name out there. And that way everyone can know what the business that they have and what they're selling or what services they're offering. And here on the Outer Banks, local is very important because we have particular seasons of tourism that comes through. So there are certain times when the locals aren't doing anything at all with their marketing. And then there's times when they're all in it and they need to get everything done at a particular time. So the main thing that we push is local SEO, as well as the reviews and responding and getting reviews. Those are the main things that we like to push on a lot of our clients, because it's so important to have that presence online, especially in a tourist area where people are online on their phones and they're looking at these local businesses and trying to figure out where they should go. And some of these businesses have 30 reviews, up to 200, up to 300 reviews, because we get about, I think it's about 20 to 30,000 visitors a week during the summertime. So there's a lot of people to see those reviews. And we've had a few clients that have moved from different areas in North Carolina to here, the Outer Banks. So we had to switch around a lot of their SEO online on their site, as well as making sure that their Google locations get changed over correctly, because that could be a big headache. It really can be. But yeah, that's the main thing that we really do like to help our clients out, no matter what they come on board with, because that's one of the very first things that their clientele is going to see is the reviews and what kind of presence that they have online.
Well, there's several things you brought up very important. One is driving your raving fans to write reviews. 2 is everybody on deck understands the importance, not just the management, not just the marketing, and you're a hands-on person, so I know that's implemented. And 3 is responding to them. I still amazed how many people that got beautiful reviews where someone took the time to get their phone out, write several paragraphs of how they like the business. And no one said thank you for the moment to do it. No one appreciated it. But if they had done it in front of them, they would do that. And then, of course, the fear. I want you to talk a little bit about the fear of responding to negative reviews, because if you're retail, someone's going to hate you no matter how great you are.
That's the
truth. I think that's another important piece.
Yes, and we've had clients that have called us and just are freaking out because they had a bad review. And what we tell them to do is respond. Take a day, calm down, relax. And yes, for the owner, it is an emotional hit for them, and they really do get upset about it. But once they take that time to kind of put themselves in that customer's shoes, try to see all different aspects of the situation, they tend to calm down a lot more. And then they're able to respond in a more productive way to where they can either start communication again with that client, or they can express, their gratitude for them coming to their services. And then oftentimes that if it doesn't work out too well, the owners still allow them to have some sort of discount for the next time they come in, or whatever it may be. So yeah, we've gone through that.
I think that's real important what you said, because in the real world, it doesn't always work out.
No.
But it does matter that you cared enough to make a response. And that's the key operative here. And I think there's several things on that. One is reach out and respond. Two, I tell people, pretend they were in front of you with your best customers watching. What would you say? And then they'll often know, because, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. How do I respond? They go, what'd you do if they're standing right here? And they go, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
They know immediately, because, you're in a world of what I call feast or famine. You're either, that's why I remember when I first came to train there, one of the directors said, you better be on your A game. It's the smartest group around. Well, I love it, because I don't mind admitting if there's something I don't know, or you brought up things in class. I went, oh my God, I forgot that. Thanks for mentioning it. But I think that's why it's so valuable to talk to you, because in your area, it is such a tight seasonal that if you aren't leaning into it and fighting hard, you're going to actually starve to death. Yes. And the sad challenge is, in many towns where they've slowly become depressed, it's actually harder to get them to move to take advice that would change their life, like a depressed person. But why I love that place is if you just stand still and do nothing, you're gone. I mean, that's the key. And the other thing is understanding that even if it doesn't work out, you've made the effort and people see it.
Exactly.
And I think it was Andy Beal or someone that I know said, do 3 interactions, work to get it offline, and don't get in something match online. Whatever you do, you're going to lose as the owner.
Yeah.
And I think those are a few things that are very important. Anything else you'd add to that?
Well, we have had clients that don't understand the whole review. We actually had a client that actually did take one of your classes, but they took it over at COA over in Elizabeth City area. And afterwards she came over and I was telling her, you need to get some more reviews up there so that way we can showcase it onto your website. And she's like, yeah, that's what Martin said. I'm like, Martin Brossman? She said, yeah, I took his class. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Well, then you know that you need reviews. And she's like, I've been giving reviews. I'm like, but your business need reviews. So she was all happy about giving reviews out to other businesses, but she was forgetting about asking for reviews. So what we ended up doing is actually made a little email template for her. So all she had to do was just copy and paste and send it out. That way she didn't have to worry about, oh, I don't know what to say. I feel kind of weird asking people for reviews. A lot of times that's what they feel. They just feel like they're overstepping, but it's like they came to your business and they loved it. So it's okay, and from that point on, she's been getting a lot of reviews.
That's excellent. And I want to give kudos to her that she's also doing something else that I recommend is be a good citizen and review local.
Yes.
But the missing piece is she probably didn't give them the card and said, I'm Sue Jones and I own the bagel factory down the street and I love your place and here's mine. I'm really working to give more reviews. She probably didn't add enough of that in. So they would do it. And then you're right. Let your customers decide. I mean, don't be afraid. Look, if you stir the pot and someone doesn't like you, well, now it brings something to light that they've been gossiping around in person. And now we've got it out in the front yard where we can address it.
That's right.
And so that's why you got to address that. It is actually better to have a complaint in my front yard than 100 people in my backyard I don't know talking about me negatively, and I can't even address it.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
The other thing that I think is very important in your area that I'd love to, if you could give a few tips on, is seasonal. Seasonal work, because you aren't just trying to reach local. You want to support the greatness of local, but the people who are just your neighbors aren't necessarily enough that sustainable for the whole year round. We got this large group and surging in and then leaving, and we want them welcome, have a great time, and want to come back. So if you talk a little bit about that, because that's another area you work in, is how do you want the local for sustainability and winter and all that, and then you also want the other information that brings them in.
Well, I've lived here on the Outer Banks for about 30 years now, so I've seen all the different waves that we get. And I remember that before it used to be just those 3 months of the summertime, and that's the only time that they would come. But they've realized that we have amazing weather in the off season during the shoulder season, which is right between March and May, and then right after, which would be around September, October, November. And people do come all the way through to December, and they'll rent houses just to have Christmas at the house, so that way they don't have to clean up in their own house. So they'll have Christmas at the homes. And then usually January and February, it's completely dead here. We usually don't get anybody around. And before, it used to be from about October to about April where we didn't have anything. So throughout the months, we actually have to work the marketing towards the particular people that are coming during the particular times. We see more of an older clientele that come in the shoulder seasons rather than the family clientele that come right directly in the summertime. So we have to know who our clients are trying to target in order for us to help them with their marketing. And in the wintertime, and not so much in wintertime, but also in December, January, February, March, the locals, either they're not working that much, so they do get to go out a little bit more. And there's a lot more appreciation towards locals given by the businesses. So they'll get their local discounts. They'll get extra events that are going on just for the locals, because they know that in the wintertime, they have to have that local clientele, or else they're going to have to close the doors for just the wintertime, So yeah, you have to know your seasons here in order for you to be successful. So that way you know who exactly you have to target at what particular time of the year.
I think that's important, because I bet there's a different persona of customer that wants to have Christmas there than that wants to be there for surfing and so forth. So I know you guys are big on really persona development. Who are we speaking to so that you're creating the right ad, the right content? They might come from Richmond, Virginia down for Christmas here, but they might come from Raleigh during the summer. And so knowing where you're going to do those paid ads, and then who are we speaking to as well, is an important aspect here. And probably the importance of doing good persona development, which I know your team does, is who are we, is it Judy from Raleigh, or is it Bob from Richmond? Who are we speaking to? And then taking all the data we have from analytics and on to perfect that and narrowcast that and really reach them as well. And I think that's so important that we're working with it. And the other thing is just the importance of landing pages that speak to the group. You might have instead of sending them to the home page, have a landing page for winter cottages. And a landing page for people who like seeing dolphins or something, and so forth. So you can narrowcast, and you have that ability to do it. And I think those are several things we have to understand, is we really have to speak to our audience with what they want and not assume everyone comes through the same funnel.
That's right. That is right. There's actually a real estate company here, one of the largest ones that we have, that has their own team of developers that what they do is they configure a particular algorithm. So that way when the customer books an oceanfront house, the next time that they go on that particular website, that algorithm will read all the information from the browser, even if it had been cleared before. I don't know how to do this yet, honestly. Even how it's been cleared before. So that way when that user comes back, they're not going to show them a soundfront home. They're not going to show them a residential home. They're going to show them an oceanfront home around the same price that they paid the year before. That way they can already hook them. The bait is right there. It's not having them go and searching around the website trying to look for this or look for that. It's giving them something that they've been getting for the last few years. So they know their customers, and they know their customers well enough to present them with what they actually want. And it's been working great for them. I heard that their most expensive rental that they had on their mobile app was a $45,000 weekly rental.
Wow.
And they paid for it online, mobile. It was crazy.
I got it. And that was what they wanted, because here's the thing is, to me, it's really respecting the customer. If you go into a bed and breakfast, and the bed and breakfast people have seen you each year, and they know you like rye bagels sitting in the room when you come in, and you have rye bagels, is that manipulation or good service? I'd say it's good service, you know? And that's, to me, what they're doing. They can still find the other stuff. They can still shop around and get it. And what they're giving them is a customized experience. And I say businesses, go for this the best you can. You don't have to have a deep pocket on it.
That's right.
I would rather you shoot, and we in the persona workshop, I work through and say, I'd rather be wrong and correct it than not be specific enough, because nobody buys a gift for someone aged 23 to 45, male or female. You don't do it. Exactly. And also your content doesn't have as much relevance. I got to speak to a meetup for eBay last night. I was so excited to go to it. It is a small meetup, but it was really even talking to those people and going, who are your customers? Don't assume it's anyone, because if your customers is anyone, you really aren't in today's marketing at all. You haven't even started your homework. Yep. And that's something I think very important for people to realize. Who are they? Who can we give the right value to? And also, who can we not serve? Make sure we aren't attracting them, you know, and I know you look out for that with the customer, and he goes, well, we always have extra cups like this, you know, and you go, well, isn't the customer that takes 80% of your time like those cups? Yeah, but we want to make them happy. Well, why don't we take them away? And because we can't serve them anyway, you know, and that's the tough decision that a business needs to make on that. And I think that's another thing you work with on it.
And it is tough. That right there, having your qualified client, is a very tough thing here on the Outer Banks, because like I said before with the season, so depending on the season, you might not get that many clients, but you need more clients. You need more customers. So the businesses are willing to take anything that they get rather than sticking with their qualified clients. And we have examples of good companies that have their qualified clients and they stick with their qualified clients. We've got some real estate companies here that they only target the big paying money kind of families that are going to come here and visit. But those families also expect a higher standard. So that company must keep that higher standard to keep those qualified clients. And they're doing perfectly fine. They don't have to go to a lower quality that they may not want to sell their services to. And I've also noticed that business owners don't seem to do their persona studies. And they need to. And then we end up educating them on personas for their clients. And that really does help them see what their clients really need. Because all the time it's just like, oh, it's just the tourist, just the tourist, just the tourist. No, there's a whole lot of tourists that go all around the world. There's a particular type of tourist that comes here, and they're all different types. We've got families, we've got retired couples, we've got young adults that just got married that come through here, you know, so we have to have some things that are affordable for these particular people and some things that are grandiose and luxurious for these other type of people, you know? And so once they learn about personas and how to build their personas, they get a much better hold on their clientele, and they seem much happier too, because I think it's like they they feel they know it better now. So they become a much happier business owner when they start realizing how to put together their personas for their clients.
Excellent. I want to change the topic a little bit and talk about networking, because I've between the chambers and other things, it's something I've really enjoyed learning about and working with, because you guys are right on top of each other. So it's easy to be fierce competitors, and it's a little harder when you're right on top and there's it looks like there's only 3 cookies and there's 6 people to learn to work together, and some do and some don't, and we love them all. They're good businesses. But I'd love to talk a little bit about the idea of networking, building alliances. We're also exploring Alignable together, which is exciting.
Yes.
Another platform that I'm doing a 6-month experiment with to see how it can be used best. But I'd love your tips on what you've learned, because we don't all work together at the same rate, and that's okay. We might be competitors and keep our distance, or we might be competitors and work together, but it doesn't mean we're going to share our inside latest developments. Exactly. So I'd love to talk about that, because I think it's a ground where it's most important in your area because of the tightness of the seasons and everything.
That's right. Yeah, it is difficult trying to get people together within the same industries because everybody's always competing against each other. And when it comes to us in particular, we don't mind working with other digital marketing companies at all. We accept them, because a lot of times we do end up having to work with them if one of their clients comes with us, or vice versa. And we have seen some backlash a little bit from those that are within the same industry as ours. But I'm always really easy to work with, and keep it professional. And those that step out of line will be noticed. And that actually speaks more volumes on our business because we're not, lashing out in a negative way. We put all our chips on the table, and there they are. We're very transparent, and we like to be, so that way we can gain the trust of not only our clients, but the community as well. And we make sure that within our company, as well as the rest of our employees, and we try to push our clients to attend a lot of the chamber events, because that is the best way to network, especially in this area. You get to meet a lot of the business owners, and other business owners, they like to talk with us a lot, but sometimes they forget that we are a business. So you do have to, we do consult, but we can't just give you free advice all the time. Mm-hmm. And we don't mind speaking with them here and there at chamber events, and that works out great. And they get that little snippet that, yes, we do know what we're doing. And what they like the most about us here is the fact that we have an office and we're here. And if they have any issues, they can come and they can see us. And that's the biggest thing that they have told us about that. But most of all, there's a lot of competition when it comes to the real estate companies, because they're trying to get more and more of the vacationers to get those homes. And there's not so much competition with the restaurants, because a lot of the restaurants, they do kind of serve the same stuff. And so there's not too much competition there. There's a pretty decent, another industry that's kind of big here is weddings. And there's a little bit of competition with that as well. I'm a wedding DJ myself. We all here. We got 2 jobs. You know that. Everybody on the Outer Banks.
2? I've counted 3 with you at least.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, we stay pretty busy here. But in the wedding industry, it does get it gets a little competitive a little bit. But I mean, we have about 13,000 weddings just in the summertime here. So it gets pretty crazy.
Well, what we use a term that it's not original to me, but co-opetition in our social media class. And many people have talked about, that was one of the insights of the class, is I would rather, if you and I were competition, I'd rather we work together than I have to compete with you directly.
Yes.
And I have to kind of watch, because if we can find ways to co-live in the same space, it takes less resources for me. And then the other thing that you brought up that's so important is the balance of getting comfortable in a business, of give them some and then go, to go this further, we'd really have to sit down and schedule a time to talk and work with and so forth. And you really have to gate some of it, but it's amazing how much you can give away and they'll still not do it. They won't work with it. They'll know you're the expert and a year later say, I'm done. Just let me pay you and do it. I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Yes.
So that's part of that as well. But this concept of co-opetition is, how can we work together? How can we, instead of just directly competing? And I think it takes more courage personally when you're in an environment like yours, where it's so tight-knit and so close and right on top of each other. And I've learned that in the groups, because but it's also a great opportunity to shine and build character and build trust.
Exactly.
And I love your idea of encouraging your clients to go to a chamber event, and maybe go with them to something and help them network. Is what a great added value you can give to them than connecting and working with them as well.
The chamber here is very important, and they do a great job, as you know. You've seen.
Yeah, I love them.
And they do a great job, and so that's why we like to make sure that all our clients are hooked up with the chamber, because the chamber does offer a lot for them, for any businesses that are coming in here or have been here and not have been part of the chamber. It offers a lot. Yes.
What are other tips for maximizing local that you might have for people, or ideas? Or we've got reviews, which are important. We've got understanding the persona of your customer. We didn't really talk about buyer's journey, but what is the customer's journey in coming to you? Is it, I drive by, see the sign, I pull in, or they like to talk to other people to find out? Understanding what I call the convincer strategy of the persona of your customer. What specifically is important? Do they want to see something? Do they want to touch something? What do they want as their experience?
I've noticed that with the locals, it's more of the, let me see something as I'm driving down the road, or they see something on a sign, because they already know the area, Right. So a lot of times it's more of a last minute kind of thing. It's not so much planning. And then with vacationers or people that are just visiting just for a short weekend, it just depends on the particular person. So you have to get your personas together in order to know which ones you're targeting. But making sure that your Google is correct, your local SEO is correct, that they can get the correct phone number, that they can get the correct address, that they can get the correct information. And a lot of people don't seem to take advantage of that particular thing, because Google has so many different options on things that you can show your viewers when they look up your information. And it's crazy awesome. You can put some prices, you can put your menus, you can put posts, whatever you want.
Video.
Yes, video. It's awesome. So we try to tell our clients all about that as well, and try to get them to get their Google together and up and running. Google My Business. Use it as much as possible, because that's very important, especially since people are always going to be searching on their phones as they're driving, or as they're sitting in traffic. They're going to be looking on their phones, and they're going to be sitting in traffic for a while. So you have to give them the opportunity to find the correct information.
Video's been exploding quite a bit too. And I mean, now we've got the new Instagram video, IGTV. Oh my gosh, I remember that. And which is portrait versus landscape by default, taking on YouTube. And then we've got YouTube, and then we've got, of course, Facebook Live, Facebook streaming. We've got Snapchat, Snapchat live share, just all that. And then we've got stories on everything now. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that and content, and what's your views and information on it as well.
Well, any kind of social media works really great around here. I'm not sure exactly why it works so great, honestly, but it works really great around here. Anytime we've seen a few businesses that don't even have websites, they just have their Facebook, but it seems to be working for them rather than having an actual website. Facebook is one of the biggest things around here. The younger generation that we see are more into the Instagram. And so those are the two biggest channels that most of the businesses around here do target. I know that our Visitors Bureau, their main connection is the Instagram. And they end up getting a lot of influencers to come down here to shoot photos, to have some experiences here on the Outer Banks. So that way they can post it on their Instagram and tag us or hashtag our Outer Banks, whatever it may be. And it helps out a lot because those influencers have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and their followers will see it, which will lead them back to us here on the Outer Banks so that they would come back down here. So Facebook and Instagram are really one of the two biggest things that are used in the area. Videos are always the easiest way to get to somebody and get your point across because they don't have to read anything. They can just see it. They can hear it. They can connect a lot better. And most of the time what I've noticed is that people will remember better when they actually visually see it and audibly hear it. And they have a better connection. You're mixing with two of their senses. So it's easier for them to retain that information when it comes to videos. So yes, videos are very important. And we've seen that rise a lot. I did read an article maybe about a month ago that LinkedIn was trying to push their videos as well.
Right.
And, you know, put up some videos because they're going to push it. They're going to push it and it's going to be really good. So yes, it's coming up there and it's getting really good. I love it.
Excellent, excellent. So do you kind of help them in getting a good microphone and things if they need it, so they're on?
Yeah, we actually have a gentleman that works with us. He's actually our owner's husband, and he does the videography for us.
Cool.
And he's got everything that we need for that kind of thing. And he also does videos for the county. He's a police officer as well, so he also does videos like that. So yeah, everybody has double jobs.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, that's important. And to me, the key thing in video is still making sure you get the best audio you can have.
Yes.
And there, I don't have it with me, but there's even a really nice shotgun mic that will go on the phone, and it's directional. And you and I we used it there to interview you and
That's
stuff.
right.
So that's another piece, is get that audio as good as possible and get content. And also, to me, I think the creative discipline of looking for the compelling story. I think it's a muscle that you teach your clients. You got to do it too. We can't do this alone. I'm over here looking, but you've got to develop the muscle of that could be a story someone would care about. That could be a story someone would care about. Yes. And really training your eye, that has emotional content and could grab them. That might be a story, but it's too personal and too many kids in the picture, or, you know, whatever it is. So you're training your eye to look for the stories. And that's the greatest sin I see in businesses, because I know how busy they are, is not making that effort to listen for the stories through your customer's eyes, which then amplifies the good work of a good marketing company, and very important aspect of it as well.
Yep. And that's what we try to explain to our clients, no matter what industry they are, is to get the story. Because that's going to help out. They can write blogs on it, and then other people can relate on that. Just like, you know, you have a story for a wedding planner. We have a lot of wedding planners. We have wedding venues. Well, tell me the story about the last wedding that you planned and how awesome it was and how beautiful the bride looked and how the groom cried when he saw his bride walking down the aisle. Tell them about that. That's what they want to hear. They want to see those things. Take one picture, take two pictures. It doesn't matter. Just give them something that they can hold on to, and then it'll make them want to come to see your venue or come and use your venue. Same thing when it comes to vacation rentals. You know, we have some people that write amazing reviews, and you don't really have the need to build content because they already told the whole story. But then there's sometimes where you helped out a particular family because they just had a bad accident or something on during traffic. So you had to help them. Talk about how you helped them and what you guys did, the services that you provided, and how the family felt afterwards. And in that article, you can include their review as well. Yeah. And it just all can come together to help the business.
One of the things I saw with Outer Banks years ago is there's a great small bed and breakfast I talk about, Big Mill in Williamston. Yes. And Chloe knows that. And there was a really heavy storm that came in, and Chloe thought, it's a bad storm. I'm going to kind of back off on social. And then I watched the Outer Banks areas, and they realized the media is not reporting what's actually going on. We need to become the media. And I watched some of your sites go from a few thousand to like 15,000 followers, becoming the media. And Chloe learned her lesson because she had people that canceled when she wasn't closed. She had people upset because it was like, why didn't you tell me what was going on? She had all types. And now when a storm comes, she might be out there showing the puddle and showing we're still open, the generator's running. Right. And she's learned from that experience. But you were the example. I said, look, Chloe, here's you. You better drop in business. And here's Outer Banks. It's just less than a few hours away, and they've just about quadrupled. And I noticed this in Hawaii with the tragic volcano. I heard the local businesses on a news thing, and they go, well, they're not reporting us well. And I was screaming at the TV, then why aren't you reporting? You know, why are you being a victim? You could have keyword-driven content on YouTube with a small marketing company, and you could have NBC, CNN, Fox there, and your video sitting right under it.
That's right.
Because you're delivering accurate content on what's really going on.
That's right.
And so that's another thing that I saw, and I know you guys were involved in some of that.
Yeah, a lot of times that's what ends up happening. Some of the real estate companies, they'll have one person from their team go out and actually do a live video report. That way people can see what's actually going on. And most of the time, the local TV station will grab those videos and then show them, be like, this is what's really happening. And that usually doesn't happen until after they've already given the story that it's like, oh, it's so bad, it's so bad. And then they pull in the other one like, it's actually not so bad. It's okay still. We're not.
Yeah, and if you lost a house or two, show it and say, here's our plan.
That's right.
Building up. And then you go, we got the first one done. We're ready for rentals, and build the story. So even in bad situations, you can kind of own it, embrace it, and capitalize on it. My quote is, let's learn to surf instead of trying to control the ocean, which we can't anyway.
Yeah. And the main thing that we do notice when it comes to social media and storms is that most of the important weather alerts will come in through Twitter. So we have to switch gears completely because everybody turns on to Twitter. Some people will still stick to the Facebook because it's just easier for them, but then they reshare it on Twitter. So we got to switch gears when it comes to a storm coming through. Everybody's on Twitter.
That's so important because I teach Twitter as the breaking news and the breaking hearsay, both. Yes. But let's go, and the importance of being actively involved. We didn't talk much about Pinterest. That's another great place for people pinning their future trips and journeys. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that because still Google and Facebook no one's come close to what Pinterest does with individual curated content, which is real. And that's a very attractive thing to people.
Pinterest works the best with the wedding industry around here because we have so many different vendors that do so many different things. So each vendor can actually set up their own Pinterest account to focus on what they offer. So if we have somebody that does gowns, then their Pinterest page has a lot of different ideas for gowns. When we have a wedding planner, they have different ideas of things that they can use during a wedding. So Pinterest has been the best when it comes to the weddings as far as the industries around here. I haven't really seen too many restaurants use Pinterest that much. Not so much vacation rentals. There are some vacation rental companies that do use it, And it's mainly to give more ideas of what to do, where to go, and when you're in the area, Pinterest seems to work for that as well. But yeah, the wedding industry, I would say, is the one that takes the best advantage of it. And we do have some local artists that work with Pinterest as well.
That's excellent. Excellent. So we've covered quite a few of them. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we really haven't talked about Snapchat. What are you seeing with Snapchat in your area and its utility?
Honestly, I've seen mainly just kids using it.
Right. The conversation, younger kids. So something that caters to an under 25 crowd might want to be on Snapchat.
Exactly. And you're correct on that. There's even been times people just walk around, like instead of having your camera ready on your cell phone, they have their Snapchat as their default, which is crazy. I saw that when I went to Raleigh to the PNC Arena for Star Wars night during a hockey game.
Yeah.
And I was taking photos for people. I was with the Star Wars crew, and I was taking the photos, and they were handing me their phones, and it was on Snapchat. And I'm like, what? I can only take one photo at a time. What's up? Right. But yeah, they have it already set default as their Snapchat. So yes, people use it. It's usually the younger crowd, like you said, under 25. So depending on your business and your clientele persona, yes, you would like to use Snapchat. It is very popular, and it's also fun. Yeah, it's very fun. I also have noticed grandparents using it.
Yes,
because their grandkids are using it, and they're the best at it. They're even better than their grandkids at it because they have the time to play with it. Yeah.
Well, one of my quotes is if something's in between grandma connecting to her grandkids, she'll learn quantum mechanics.
You're right.
If it'll get her there. So when people make comments, well, our group, our clientele's older, I go, well, they might be smarter than you. You better watch out. And they'll look deeper and go, my gosh, she knows more about Snapchat than I would ever expect. So I think that's important. Don't stereotype your persona group. Get to know them. See what they're doing. See through their eyes and understand it.
That's right. And not just that, you also have to know, like with my own mom, she doesn't know how to use a desktop at all. A laptop? No, she doesn't. But she can work her mobile like nothing else. I can tell you what, she knows how to do her Facebook. She knows how to read her emails and respond. And most of her interaction, all of her interaction on the internet is on her mobile. So we also do website design. And when we do website design, we have to take the persona into consideration as well, because my mom is not going to go onto their website. So if your website is not showing the information on the mobile from the desktop, the mobile is different information, then you might lose some customers there. Because like I said, my mom, she's only on her mobile, and that's the only way she gets her news, her information is her mobile, So you gotta go for those kind of clients as well. You gotta keep them in mind.
Outstanding. Well, this was great. I really wanted to have a conversation with you and let people know. And I so appreciate you and your company, because they've helped support coming to classes I've done and things like that. So give kudos to the owners as well. Would you just take a moment and tell people a little bit about the company, how they can find you, what's the way to do it? Because we can solve it, or if we can't, we'll get you to a person we trust to solve it person.
That's right. Yes. So we are Mitro Digital Marketing, and we do online digital marketing needs. So if you need a website, email marketing, local SEO, reputation, we have things that can set that up for you. Any PPC as well, we do all that, and business consulting as well. My owner of the company is actually a score tutor. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Oh, I know Score well. Okay. I did the first social media training for Raleigh Score.
Perfect. Right. So my owner is a Score tutor. So we know when it comes to small businesses what we need to do to get them out there. And we work hard to do that. We want to make sure that our clients succeed above and beyond what they may even imagine. A lot of times they come in here and they think they need this, they think they need that. But once we sit down and we talk, and they realize, oh man, this is what we need to start with so we can get to that. So it's really great to see them realize all the great things that they have the ability to do when they come here. We're actually starting to try to get in Raleigh. We've just joined the Raleigh Chamber last month, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. My owner's actually over there for a women's luncheon today.
Well, we need to get it so I can interview her sometimes.
Yes, definitely.
Great. Because I'm a very big advocate of SCORE. I'm an advocate of women business starting. I'm ready for them to finally solve all the world problems.
That's right. That's right. She's got a great story too. She's got a really great story. She's written a book, and she a lot of achievements in her life, which is great. So yeah, we're starting to move towards that Raleigh area, the Triangle area, and so we'll see how that goes within this next year.
Fantastic. And also great to have you you took my certification, social media certification at the beach too. And so we want to thank you and the organization that supported you doing it as well. So thanks for the tips. We want to have a fun conversation. This is, again, a locally owned and operated business. And I'm thanks for getting the shirt. I'll put a link to my shirt below. I've started my own Amazon shirt series, and I've got these ideas. Now I got the creative person to help me. Okay, here's the idea. How can we make this work? And then comes back and go, wow, that's better than I ever dreamed of. So
that's right.
Support local, buy local, shop local, and review your local businesses.
That's right.
So excellent.
That's right.
Have a great day. Thanks.
You too, Martin. Thank you, bud. Have a good one.